All right, so let me get my screen set up and then you can tell me if you can see my screen. Oh, it says the host disabled attendee screen sharing.
How do I see? How do I?
I don't know from my
Wait,
end.
I just made you the host right now, so see
Ooh,
what happens.
power. There's so
Power.
much power. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And again, so if you can raise your hand or give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen, you should see a presentation. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do, and a little bit about this, we're going to go through the presentation, but what you're also going to see are some examples. So I'm going to be flipping back and forth between the presentation because I believe in showing as well as not just saying, but also showing you. All right, so can you still see my screen? It should pop up. Yeah,
Yep.
cool. All right, so small business SEO for the busy entrepreneur. Again, what we're going to just go over really briefly and at a high level, and then we'll have some time for Q&A, hopefully. But what the heck is SEO and why should you care is the biggest question that I get. The basics of keyword research and kind of like what is a keyword, basics of a website structure, what are page titles, meta descriptions, backlinks, the importance of content, some free tools as well as paid tools that you could get your hands on, where the heck to get started on everything, and how long will it take to see results. So what you can expect, again, flipping a bit back and forth between browser and the slides, you can expect the very basics of SEO here and as little jargon as possible. If you feel like I'm still throwing too much jargon, feel free to put it in the comments or just interrupt me and say, hey, I don't know what that means. Could you please explain it further? Because I want you to at least know whether or not you do it yourself, if you hire someone to do it, at least you know what the words mean so that you're not a deer in the headlights. All right, so a little bit about me. I am the owner of Robles Designs. I also founded the Digital Hustle Tribe, and I get really bored, so I also have a commercial cleaning company, and I can't wait till everything opens back up so that I can have not just order tacos and get them delivered, but actually go out and get tacos and margaritas and go Latin dancing. So that is what I am holding on to. Okay, so what is SEO? SEO is basically search engine optimization. It's what gets you found. So if you type in something like tacos in Upper Arlington, the first thing that pops up, they are the ones that are optimized for SEO. If you have a boutique, so it would be like, let's say, women's boutique in Grandview, then the site that pops up is the one that's best optimized for SEO, that Google thinks is best optimized for SEO. There are other search engines out there, but Google is like the biggest one. So I always go towards Google, and then all of the other search engines generally look towards Google to see what Google is doing and see how they can do it. So I go off of Google. Excuse me. A few numbers: 70% of traffic in the businesses in the service industry is coming from organic search. So that means that this is over social, paid ads, email marketing, word of mouth, and print ads. 70% of your traffic should really be coming from organic. 71% of people don't trust sponsored ads, or they kind of just, if you're like me, you'll see a sponsored ad and then you'll just kind of keep flipping through the app. And according to NASDAQ, 95% of purchases will be through e-commerce by 2040. And again, the clients that I've had, excuse me, the clients that I've had that have weathered the storm have been the ones that have been already optimized for e-commerce. They were working towards it, or their website was optimized for SEO, and they have been able to just weather the storm a little bit better. Again, it depends on the industry that you're in right now. And then conversion rates are higher from being found via SEO, just organically being found. The conversion rate is a lot better versus coming in from something like an ad, unless you're doing something like retargeting. And that's a whole nother iceberg that we can get into, a whole nother black hole. But so conversion rates are generally a little better when you're optimized. And we all want to just be like Scrooge McDuck and just dive into a pile of money. I want to do that too, just metaphorically speaking, because money's kind of dirty, but no shame. E-commerce and making sure that you are optimized for search engine, for Google and being found is going to get you to that goal. Let's see. So again, goals, right? So knowing your goals before you start this whole process is very key as well. So like what you want out of this, what you want to be found for, right? What you want to be known for. So if you're a boutique in Upper Arlington, what exactly do you want people to type in when they are looking for you? And don't think of branded keywords. If they are already typing your business name, they already know you. You want the people that are looking for the solution that you have. So let's say you're a gym, and somebody's looking to get healthy. What exactly are they searching for? What do you want to be known for? And then know your target market. So know exactly, you can do surveys. I've had clients just ask friends, family, previous clients, potential clients. They reach out to their ideal target market and send out surveys. They buy them a cup of coffee and say, can you just quickly brainstorm what you would search if you were looking for if you were looking to join a gym in this neighborhood, what would you be searching for? Again, ignore branded keywords, and we're going to go over what keywords really are, but ignore anything. So for me, I don't even care if I come up for Robles Designs. That does not matter to me because you already know who I am. Same thing with my name. I want people to come to me who don't know who I am, because those are new people, right? These are people who are possibly not my clients. My clients might be looking for Robles Designs to find my email or my phone number or whatever, but not, but new people don't know who I am. So ignore branded keywords, make it easy on yourself. And then just make sure that you are asking, that you are hunting down when you're brainstorming with your target market, you're hunting down for synonyms. So it can be, and this is just brainstorming. So you could say, okay, I'm going to do website design, website designer in Columbus, Ohio, website. So you just brainstorm anything, any possibility. You can put on some awesome music, whether that's Cardi B or some jazz, doesn't matter. Sit down with your notebook or on an iPad, whatever, and start typing out any sort of keywords that you could possibly be found for. And from your surveys, start grabbing those, put them in an Excel sheet. A really good tool for just brainstorming keywords, and I apologize, but this is actually what it is called. It is called the keyword shitter, and it's free. And you type in a keyword like a website design, and it'll start spewing out tons, like a giant list. Even with something like website design, it just started going. The further down it goes, the less likely it is to be relevant to you. But it just gives you this whole list, and you can just stop it, copy it, and paste it onto an Excel sheet and organize it later. So although it sounds like you wouldn't want to go on that site, it is a really good site if you are out of ideas of what to brainstorm for your keywords. So keyword shitter. And then know your competition. So what you want to do is know how they are ranking. What sort of authority do they have? And is it an authority that is nationwide? If you are after e-commerce, is it something that's very local? So when you go on and search, and you can do this in private mode, some browsers call it incognito mode, but you can go on, let's say you own a gym and you're in Grandview. Then what I would do is go on there in incognito or private mode and search gyms in Grandview and see who comes up first. So from your brainstorming, you're going to just kind of see who is coming up for these keywords. Do they have really good authority? And we're going to talk a little bit about domain authority. But just what sort of heft do they have in the field, and what are they spending their ad budget on? So SpyFu is a really good free tool, and I'm going to show you an example of SpyFu. Here you go. So I think you can only use it like 2 or 3 times in a day if on the free account, and you just have to keep going back to the home page to get there. But let's say, Okay, who can we do? I don't know if anybody wants to put in the chat their domain name, but let's see. How about we do the TRIVLLAGE Chamber? Is that okay if we put yours in? I don't remember your domain name. I always just search TRIVLLAGE Chamber. Let's see. Okay, and then I'm gonna, so what I'm doing right now, and I apologize, my computer's running a bit slow, but what I'm going to do is grab the domain name, sorry, the URL, and then go back to SpyFu, and you can do this for a lot of your competition, and it's kind of creepy. So you put in the URL and it'll tell you what organic keywords they are coming up for, the estimated monthly clicks. If they have paid for any keywords, it'll give you the estimated, the keywords that they might have been paying for, as well as their budget, their monthly budget. It's like an estimate of, hey, they look like they're spending about $1,000 on this keyword. You know, how many pages just made it to the first page, who SpyFu thinks is their competition. And this is where you can keep going down a rabbit hole, where, for example, for TRIVLLAGE Chamber, it's telling me that Gahanna area chamber is a competitor. For some reason, simplyliving.org is a competitor. Sometimes these are skewed depending on the keywords that are coming up. And then it'll tell you, okay, these are some of the keywords that are coming up for this site. Obviously, I think these are more of the clients, of the members as well. So they might, this is why their keywords are like that. I did one for another client who focuses on motherhood, but a lot of their keywords were about diapers, and that's not where they wanted to go. So then they got to revamp their content to show more of the keywords that they wanted to come up for versus diapers. Although that was in the realm of what they did and talked about, they did not want to be known as a diaper place. They wanted to be known as the, you know, the place where mothers go to vent about their kids. So it'll tell you the top pages. So SpyFu is a really, really good tool. I think, again, it's free up to, like, if you use it 5 times, you can download this information, send it to yourself. So it's really, really great. So that is one of the tools that you can use when you're brainstorming, when you're checking out your competition. In terms of domain ranking, domain is the URL, right? So what sort of heft does the URL have? And this is further down, we're going to go over how to decide which keywords that you want to target. Hopefully this works. So this is Moz. It's also free. It's a browser tool for Chrome. I believe they have it for others. Let's see here. Okay, so on the TRIVLLAGE Chamber site, I can see that what their meta description is, and meta description is not necessarily going to help with keyword, but it's like the sales pitch, and I'll show you an example of where it comes up. The page title is, so TRIVLLAGE Chamber Partnership Chamber of Commerce is good. You can also think of, if you did some analysis on keywords that people might be searching for, you can also put those in there. So this is just the kind of stuff that you would do with a couple of your key competitors. I would go after, let's say if you have time, say, okay, who are my 5 competitors? Make sure some of those are within your level, and then some of them are a little bit above you, so that you can kind of gauge where you get to go to get to that next level and what keywords they're targeting. So a meta description, I searched for sweaters in Upper Arlington. So this, and then all this stuff is from free tools. So this is probably not what you'll see, but this is where the meta description is. And as you can see, they have, Google has highlighted Upper Arlington because that's one of the items that I searched for, and sweaters. And then this is the description for this page in particular. It's the meta description. And they already give me their address, which is great. I can say immediately on Google, I can say, oh, okay, they're pretty close by. And then if they wanted to, they could kind of, depending on your business, you could try and sell it a little more. So for example, Fabtique, what I would do, so serving fashion conscious shoppers in Clemson surrounding areas, what they could also do is say, call us, or shop online, some kind of call to action. This is a great area to introduce yourself, introduce some personality, as well as add those keywords in. This is where the page title comes in, and this is the URL. Again, if I'm going a little fast, just let me know. You can unmute yourself and tell me to slow down. But yeah, so the URL, meta description, and page title. Depending on your platform, these can be super easy to fix. Page title is typically when you start a new page, it'll give you the option to edit the name of that page. Again, it depends on the platform you're on. Anything from Squarespace to WordPress to Shopify, it'll change where the location to fix these are. So if you have a particular question on a platform, let me know. But that is the basics of where everything is located. So if we go back here, okay, so we were talking about ranking. So the ranking, let's see if they'll give it to me here. It's usually a number. Where did you go? It's a number that's assigned to every domain name. Let's go. I cannot find it here, but it is assigned. You can find it through Moz. Is this another free tool that we'll get into really quick, but actually let me do. So they'll give you a ranking of what your domain name is, your domain authority is. So this is like, so right now you have a domain, TRIVLLAGE Chamber has a domain of 21. The higher the domain, the better it is for you. And we'll talk about backlinks real quick in a bit, but if you get a link from somebody who has a really high domain juice, it's like their Google juice. Like if they link to your site, they're passing on their awesomeness to you, and you want that. But if it's like your mom's blog that doesn't really have much domain authority and she's sending you a bunch of links to your site, Google's not going to care because there's not enough juice in there for it to care. But let's say entrepreneur.com or something sends you a link to your site, then Google's like, oh, they must be, since entrepreneur.com is legit, then this other site must be legit as well. All right, so let's go back here. And okay. All right, so we've talked a little bit about, so know your competition, know your target market, and know what your goals are for SEO. What do you want to be found for? And you did some brainstorming already. So you've got this, you went on Keyword Shitter and awkwardly downloaded a bunch of cool keywords. And
hey,
now-
Yasmin, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you, there's
yeah.
a couple people trying to get in, and since I switched.
Oh, okay. Ooh, all right.
If you
so
can let them in.
See. Let's see.
Thank you.
I think I got everyone. All right. Sorry, the power was going to my head. All right. So what were we? Okay, so you have, let's see. Okay, so you've gotten this. You went on Keyword Shitter. You did a brainstorming. You maybe even talked to your target market. You have this giant Excel sheet of keywords, and now you're like, what the heck do I do with it? Do I have to write about all these? What we're going to do, and keywords are words that you want to be found for. So they can be shorties or long ones. So they can be like website designer, or they could be website designer in Columbus, Ohio, or e-commerce website designer in Columbus, Ohio. They can be really, really long. But basically a keyword is what people will type in to Google to find you. So if somebody were to search for boutique in Upper Arlington or women's fashion in Upper Arlington, that would be kind of the keyword that you could research and see what the competition is for that. So it's what people are typing in. And when knowing your keywords is ideal because then you can name your images. So when you are uploading an image, it should be named with some kind of keyword. Don't just plug the keyword in, but for example, if it is a keyword about a recent event at the chamber, then the image would have the name of, let's say it was grand opening of Haven Collective. So it would say grand opening of Haven Collective in in Columbus, Ohio, Upper Arlington, celebration by the TRIVLLAGE Chamber. Something like that, where it describes what the image is about. And then, but it still has, as you can see, I added those keywords in there. I added, oh my goodness, Upper Arlington, and if it's if the location is Upper Arlington, if it's Grandview, you add that in. If you're going after Columbus in general, you can add Columbus in general. But you still have those keywords. If it's a boutique, you can add the word boutique in there because maybe you're going after that target market who's searching for that. So knowing your keywords means that you can rename your images. Then alt text is text that is hidden behind an image when you upload it. And this means that Google can't see what the image is, right? But they can see the name of the image, the name of the file, and they can see a description. And the alt text is basically a description of the image. So same thing again, grand opening of Haven Collective in Columbus, Ohio, event by the chamber, by the TRIVLLAGE chamber. And so that would be the alt text. So it's describing what the image is about, but still it has the keywords in there. You can strategize your copywriting when you know your keywords. So you'll say, okay, I know that my headline gets to be this keyword because I'm going after this type of person who is typing this thing in. And then you can talk about directly to that person and create content that is directed to answer those keywords. You'll be able to structure your site as well. So let's go to Google Ads. And Google Ads is free. The only thing, if you don't already have an account, is that you have to create an ad and then turn it on and then shut it off really quick so that it doesn't start actually charging you. But then you get access to their keyword planner. And so right here, I typed in website design. And what I did is I go in there and say, okay, I kind of want to rank for website design, but the bid to, and we're not going to, this is all organic, we're not going to actually buy anything, but you want to see how much it would cost for you to pay for this. So if I wanted to, this is a pretty high cost, $21.97 to bid on this keyword. The average monthly searches is between 10 and 100K. The competition, it's medium competition. So this is the type of thing on your Excel sheet that you created. You can start plugging this stuff into different columns and saying, okay, if the monthly search is this much, the competition is this much, and the bid is this much, is it really worth a keyword that I want to go after? And it could be that, yes, maybe you want to go after this keyword at a high level. So your entire site could be going after this keyword, especially your homepage. You can say, all right, my homepage is going to go after website design, but the other pages that I'm going to create a page about e-commerce. I'm going to create a page about service-based web design. Maybe if I'm niching down, I could say, I'm going to create a couple pages about websites for coaches. So you can then start whittling it down, but you want to make sure that you're not just saying, for example, Wix logo. So this came up, right? Wix logo is a low competition, that's great, but only between 1 to 10K people are actually typing this in. And the bid is lower, but do you really want to go after this kind of keyword? Is it even something that pertains to your business? So for me, yeah, I guess I could create a logo for a Wix site, but I wouldn't go after this keyword, even if it is low competition, but it's also low search. So going after you've created your Excel sheet and gotten all of those, you'll want to go into a system like this where you just kind of say, yes, 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 no, I don't want to go after that one. And you just want to start throwing out the ones that are junk. And then keeping the keywords that you know that they are easier to rank for, but that also pertain to your business. Is that all making sense? Hopefully. All right. Let me know again. Just pop just pop your, oh my goodness. You can unmute yourself and let me know what questions you have, because I can get down really crazy deep into this. And
Yasmin, when you talk about different pages, I just want to make sure you're not talking about creating a different Google page for each keyword or something?
No, they would be pages on your site. So for example, if you've ever heard of a site map, so let's go back to TRIVLLAGE Chamber. So for example, do you guys have a site map? No. Okay. So for example, pages would be considered, so they would have a homepage. We're on the homepage right now. And then they have a page for about leadership programs and events. They have community, upcoming events, those kinds of pages. So for example, if they wanted to go after business for some, they wanted to rank higher in, I don't know, Upper Arlington, they might consider having a page that is literally named. So the URL would be chamberpartnership.org/upper-arlington-businesses. And then that page would talk about businesses in Upper Arlington, how they support businesses in Upper Arlington. Is there a liaison for the chamber for Upper Arlington, da, 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 da. And so that depending on your keyword research, that would be one way to start targeting that community, that local community and those keywords. So if somebody's looking for business support in, so if for example, if the chamber did some research and they said, oh, look at this, there is a high search on Upper Arlington business support, let's go after that keyword. They could either create blog posts about that, or they could create a page tailored to the people who are searching for that and see if they can rank. So that's what I mean about pages. Does that support?
Can I ask you another question too, please?
Yeah.
You were talking about naming pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Does that also go for Facebook pictures, or are you only talking website?
I'm only talking website. As per my knowledge, I've never really dug into whether or not it would support with Facebook. I think Stacy from Pencil Point Marketing, she knows a little bit more about social media, so she might be a better person to answer that. But per my knowledge, I don't think that they are, because when you go onto Facebook and I try to download a picture from Facebook, it comes in all gobbledygook. So, and I don't think that person named it that. So I think their system is renaming it. Same thing with, I work for a couple of other retailers. And when I upload an image to their system, and it renames the image, so it's not named the same. So they have a different system. It's their platform is completely different. But for smaller businesses, so I think TRIVLLAGE Chamber is on WordPress. So let's go here. And then what we can do is inspect. And I'm sorry that my computer is a bit slow. Okay, so this image was named, let's see. So the apartments at the yard image was named apartments at the yard.png. So that's great. If you wanted to optimize that image a little bit more. So for example, if I was Google, I would say, well, what do you mean at the yard? Like where is this located? Is it, I see that your site is about Grandview, Marble Cliff, and Upper Arlington, but where is this at the yard? So you could say the yard located at blah, blah, blah area. Or if you're looking to expand, so I know some clients who, although they're located in like Upper Arlington, they mention Columbus because they know that some of their clients, one, might be willing to drive, and then two, do business in more than, they consider themselves Columbus area, like Columbus major area versus just one pocket. But this is how, this is probably, it keeps changing. So for example, the logo is named, so right here, tvcp-logo 600.png. I would try to rename that. You can keep it tvcp, but I would try to add something that's more written out. So like business, the chamber partnership, something about business or something, depending on, again, it all depends on your keywords you're going after. Maybe the location, maybe saying Upper Arlington, Grandview Heights, maybe all of the locations might get a little long, but you can see how you renaming the images will support in in getting those keywords up. And then your alt text shows up here. So the alt text is actually pretty good. TRIVLLAGE Chamber Partnership logo. You could also have put in there, located in the heart of da 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 da, or located in the Columbus area, something like that, where it adds more of that location because you're going after businesses in that particular location. Does that support everyone?
One more, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when we're uploading pictures into our Google ad, and it could be a picture of, because we're brush crazy, so we're an art, do-it-yourself art thing. We could name it do-it-yourself pouring art. And could we also, so even if it's pouring art, could we put, you know, wood, ceramic, all of our keywords that we think on that one picture, even though it doesn't relate to that picture?
No, you want to make sure that it is still relating to that picture.
Okay.
So for example, this one, I remember it was an event here at Haven. And so here I'm hovering, if you can see, I don't know if you guys can see, but I hovered over this image, and the title text of this image is IMG_7009. So that would also get to be changed because that's what's showing up. You want to describe the image. So, and describe what's happening in the image. So if you are, let's say you're a blogger and I don't know, you're a blogger and for some reason your blog post contains an image of Abraham Lincoln, you don't want to just start putting in the keywords about your blog. Let's say you're an author writing about ghosts, but you have an Abraham Lincoln picture. You don't want to start put anything about ghosts in that picture because it's just a portrait of Abraham Lincoln. But if it was a picture of like here of an event, you want to, I would mention the location of the event. So was it, so you can say up at Arlington, Marble Cliff, Grandview. You can say, you can mention that who these people are, not particularly their name, but you can say council members, blah, 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 leaders of the local area, that kind of description, so that because it also pops up in screen readers. So if I have a screen reader and and it'll read the alt text. And so it's great to have those keywords, but if you're just throwing a bunch of keywords at me, like I saw this picture, or the screen reader saw this picture and it started reading things like, scale your business, coaching available, da 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 da. It's not describing the image. Does that support?
Yeah.
Yeah. So describe the image first and then say, okay, so 3 people sitting, how can I describe it a little better with some keywords? And then you would go back to your keyword list and say, okay, well, I'm targeting this one, this one, and this one. Let's see how I can fit maybe Columbus, Ohio in that mix. It's a rabbit hole. But just keep in mind, like, describe what's happening in the image. And then if there's a location to it, put the location in. If it's talking about a particular topic, put that topic in. Just don't try to keyword stuff it. Okay, so website setup. All right, so I could go into like this whole web of craziness for your website and how to set it up, but just keep in mind that just keep the users happy, and that means giving them the content that they need that is up to date. Don't overload them with decisions. So I love going to Latin restaurants, but every time I go, it's like this it's just a bunch of pages of food in the menu, and then I just end up ordering the same thing over and over again every time I go. And so don't give them decision overload, and know what your hierarchy is. So this means keeping your navigation as simple as possible. If you're an e-commerce site, please do not have a tab that says shop. Just pull out your top selling items, your top selling categories, and put them on the navigation. Those would also be similar to the keywords that you want to get found for. So if you know that your main moneymaker is, let's say, dresses, And so I would put that on your navigation. I would put that toward, so if you have your logo and then your navigation, I would put that towards the leftmost so that it's easy to find. And then sale or clearance, that would be towards the right. It's the navigation. You don't really make money off of that, so it's not as important. But have your top pillars. I like to call them pillars as well. So know what, for e-commerce, what are your pillars? What's going to make you money? Those are your categories for your products. For service-based sites, what are your like 5 pillars that you want to be found for? And that would be, or what things are people coming to your site and looking for when immediately when they land on it? That would be your navigation. So just keep the experience happy, keep the site flowing, make sure that your site speed isn't too slow, that it is easy to browse, and understand that not everybody will come in through the front door. Not everyone will find you through the homepage. They might search for something, and if you're doing it the right way, let's say for example, for the chamber, let's say they were looking for business networking events, and they happen to come in through the events page instead of the home page. Keep that in mind, because that is part of the user journey as well. And you want to make sure that everything is still well branded and that they can continue that user journey after they've signed up for an event. So same thing with products for e-commerce. Sometimes people don't come in through the homepage, they come in through a product page. So make sure that the whole overall layout and design is a happy one. Page hierarchy. So again, know which pages get your number one, your most energy when you're DIYing your SEO. So that would be like your home page, your about page, any services pages. So top level pages, and then know which ones can kind of get some of your attention, but not as much. So if that makes any sense, I'm trying to kind of keep it as simple as possible. And then you can find this out also by going through Google Analytics. It's a free tool. If you have a Google account or a Gmail account, you can have access to it. You sync it to your site, and then you can say, okay, these are my top performing pages. And then when another tool as well, Google Search Console will tell you what keywords you're already ranking for. And you can say, okay, here are my top performing pages. Here's what I'm already coming up for. How can I boost this, the momentum that I have? All right, so page titles, URLs, and meta descriptions. So that's a lot of jargon. URLs are basically like the slash your website address slash whatever it is that's your page. These get to have some kind of keywords in it. So for example, your high level pages could still be slash services, but the deeper down in the hierarchy that you go, you might want to go after. So for example, one of the pages that I'm building out for myself is slash website e-commerce. That's not the exact URL, but I did some research on how many people are searching for certain e-commerce website keywords. And so that's what the URL will state. So it just gives it a little extra boost. Meta description is what your page is about. It's like an ad, right? So we saw it on whenever you search for something, it's a description right underneath the page title. And it's basically just selling me on clicking. It's not as much for SEO, but it's great for the user experience, because why would you click on a page that just has a random page title that says about and nothing else, and then a weird URL and then no meta description? And then page titles, it's just, what I showed you before, which is when I search for something and that first thing that pops up under the URL, that is the page title. You want to make sure that you tell me what the page is. So for example, if it's the about page, you can say about, and then give me a little bit more information. So for example, if it's about, let's see here, which one can we find? So sweaters in Upper Arlington. See a good one. So Upper Arlington Golden Bear t-shirts, sweaters, and other. They have the sweatshirts in their t-shirts. So for example, Arlington Commons suit and clothing store in Upper Arlington, Ohio. So they have the location in there. So these are the page titles, and then see how they have their they have Upper Arlington in their description. They have call us at, and they have their phone number. So I could literally say, oh, this is this is something that I want. There's their phone number. They have tuxedos. I'm done. They also, if we go in here, so this is a big company, right? They have a find their store. Let's click in here. And their domain score is 67, if you notice that. So they have, so this is a big company, right? But they have their store locator, and then they have the Upper Arlington, Ohio, right? And then, so this page came up because I searched for sweaters in Upper Arlington, and they have enough knowledge to say, Upper Arlington, this is where we're going to put one of our stores, and we're going to optimize this page to be found when people search for things in Upper Arlington. And you can see that the page mentions Upper Arlington a couple of times. So this is where the content comes in. It's in one of their headlines. There's the address, the phone number. I would hyperlink the phone number so you can easily call them. But you can see how they optimize the URL. So store-locator/Upper Arlington, so that it would start coming up as well. The page title had Upper Arlington on there as well. Does somebody have a question? I think I heard something.
I think I just said the 67. Is that, I don't really know what a good number is as far.
I mean, the higher the number, the better. So a 67 is a pretty good one. You could, but you keep aiming for higher. Again, it depends on which page you're looking at. If it's your home page, I mean, for example, mylocker.net has a domain score of 82. And you can see that they're ranking a little higher. Clothes Mentor, their domain score for this page is a 0, but they probably have better, Google at least sees them as better optimized to get me what I want, sweaters in Upper Arlington. I'm also not in incognito mode, so Google could be like, you can't go to that one store, you're gonna go to Clothes Mentor. So this is also why you would want to be in private mode or incognito mode, because it will take your search history into account when bringing things up. Let's see. Yeah, so 97. So Yelp has a 97. Obviously, it's Yelp.
400 is the best then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. And again, and we'll talk about backlinks, but you can get some of that SEO juice from other sites when they link to you. So make sure you don't duplicate any of the meta descriptions. If you have an e-commerce site, please don't duplicate the product descriptions either, because it's going to be flagged, and it's better for you to have it be unique enough. Again, if you sell the same kind of sweater, it might get a little hard to create a unique description, but at least try to tweak it a little bit so that it is not the exact same copy. So backlinks. Backlinks aren't so much on-site SEO. It's more, I don't know, PR. It's more marketing. You want to get links from somebody who has really good domain authority. Again, it depends on, so I was working with a gym in Westerville, and we decided that getting a link from like health.com wouldn't even help, because although the domain authority would support, if he was just going for just because he wanted that link, that would be great. But we decided that it wasn't worth the effort, because he's looking for people specifically in Westerville, not worldwide. So if he had an online platform, maybe that would work a little better. So his energy is going to be spent more on getting links from more high ranking but local places, getting featured, things like that. And so you want to make sure that people are linking to you. You can also link back, just make sure that it is not too much, because it'll start getting flagged as if you're like just trading links. Also think about linking within your own site. Google loves it when you link within your site. So if you do have a blog, make sure you're linking to your services page, link to a previous blog post. If you have products, you can, from the blog, you can link to the product page. Things like that, just link within your site. If you have an FAQ page, link to other pages that might support in answering those questions. So link within your own site, and then get links from other companies. Getting links from other companies, please make sure that it is not, easy. So there are some companies out there that will just provide a link to you. You just submit it and it'll provide it. Google doesn't like that. Google wants it to be more genuine. So again, getting featured somewhere and having them link back to your site, whether that's a blog or an online magazine, something like that. Check to see what their domain authority is. And at first it might be somebody else that has a lower domain authority, not than you. Don't go after ones that have lower domain authority than you, but it might, if you have a domain authority of 25 and you can get somebody to link to you that has a domain authority of 35, that's fine. But your goal is to keep going up and up so that that Google juice, Google magic gets passed over to you. So link within your own site as well. And keep in mind that one link from a high authority website is better than 20 links from someone who doesn't get any traffic to their site, who has a very low authority. So put your energy in getting a higher authority site to link to you. All right, so content. Just a lot of people get caught up in the keywords and the content. Just what you should keep in mind is providing really good value, and then just keeping those keywords in mind. So let's say you're writing your content for the for your services page. Let's say you sell insurance, and you know what your keywords are and that you know you're going to provide content, then just go through and make sure that once you've written your content, where can you sprinkle in the keywords but still make it sound normal and as not robotic, not as if you literally went in and shoved all those keywords in. You want to make it as genuine as possible, because it will read awkwardly for a human, and then Google might flag you if you're doing it way too much. So just keep it organic. Just keep in the back of your mind, okay, this keyword is for my about page. How can I insert it in there? And then a couple ways that you can do it. Sorry, TRIVLLAGE Chamber, I'm going to continue to use you. So headlines. So headlines is the #1 place where you're going to want to add some keywords in. So welcome to the TRIVLLAGE Chamber partnership. You could, let's do some inspecting here. And on your platform, I have never seen a platform that doesn't do it. So on your platform, it should allow you to see what your headline is labeled as. Sorry, this is taking a bit. Okay, so this is an H3. It should be this is an H1. It's an H1 and an H. So there's an empty H1 tag, and it looks like the actual headline is in H3. So H1 is just heading 1. It's like the main idea for the page. That could be, if it's your about page, it could literally be about our company. If it is for me on my site, I believe it is currently set at Jewel-worthy websites and brands for entrepreneurs. That is my H1 tag for the homepage. And depending on the page, that it's like the main idea. You will only use it once per page, because you will get flagged if you continue. It confuses the Google bots. Use it once per page, and it's like the main idea. And then the rest of your keywords can be sprinkled throughout using H2. H3 is at a lower level. So for example, TRIVLLAGE Chamber Partnership Premium Sponsors could be a headline. It could be an H2. And again, make sure that it is targeting the keywords. Hopefully this is making sense. Targeting the keywords that you've chosen. So like if I have e-commerce web designer as my go-to keyword for a particular page, one of the headlines should have it in there. Sometimes it's hard to put them in there, and if it's just getting a little wonky and you're spending way too much time trying to fit a keyword in and it's just not fitting, it's not sounding normal, or it's sounding robotic, then forget about it. Just put it within the body of the content. But you still want to make sure that you are at least top of mind when you're creating your content. I hope that makes sense. Let's see if I can get to another page that might support a little better. So keep those keywords. So for example, these are good keywords. Upper Arlington, Grandview Heights, Marble Cliff would be good keywords. and they are, it looks like they're headlines. So that's good. And then maybe introducing a little bit more text in on this page, is kind of light on text, but talking about maybe a little bit more about, even if it's like a little tiny paragraph about the businesses in here, in Grandview Heights and in Marble Cliff. So I hope that's making sense. But so you have your keywords and you're creating your content. I would just go ahead and say, this is my goal keyword for my content. I'm going to write about it and then see if I have enough keywords within it that still makes it sound normal, but still sprinkles them in, and then go with it. As a busy entrepreneur, I think that's sufficient. And then as you're tracking on Google Analytics and Google Search Console, you'll see it move the needle, and you'll see what's working and what's not, and you can pivot that way. Does that support? Okay. So let me go a little, okay, and Answer the Public is a free tool. Let's go here, and you type in, like, I don't know, chocolate, and it gives you ideas for, this is great for blogging. It gives you ideas for content. So, let's see, I'm sorry, my computer is a little, it thinks it's Monday. So for example, I typed in chocolate, and it goes, okay, so the when questions, when chocolate separates, what to do. So if you were writing, if you have a recipe website and you were doing a month of chocolate, this would be a great way of getting some articles under your belt getting some ideas under your belt for what to write about, about chocolate, which chocolate bars are vegan. So you can get a good idea of that. You can do this for boutiques, you can type in dresses, you can type in, so for example, for one of my clients, we typed in motherhood, and just to see what people were searching for when they were using the keyword motherhood. So that's a good tool. And okay, so how long will it take? Such a heavy question. So it depends on the work you're doing. It takes about if you've gone really deep into SEO, it can take about 3 months to see a nice shift. And it depends on where you started, as well as it depends on what you have edited on your content. Are you blogging? How often are you blogging? Are you blogging twice a week? Are you blogging once a month? What are you doing outside of just revamping your website? Are you doing some more promotion? Are you tracking that promotion? Have you gotten any backlinks? What quality backlinks have they been? So it depends on a lot of different factors, but as long as you remember that it is a marathon, not a sprint, especially since we all wear so many hats. We are HR, we are the finance group, we are sales, we are everything. It might take a little longer than the 3 months, but as long as, let's say if you are blogging and you blog once a week, well then the images that you upload when you blog get to have that alt text that we talked about, get to be named appropriately. Let's say you are blogging and you want to be found for these five keywords that you decided on. Okay, well now you get to then maneuver your content and just write about that. And so although that might be the only thing that changes between now and within 3 months, you can still see a little bit of a shift. And also make sure you're tracking everything on Google Analytics, but you'll see a shift slowly to help you gain that momentum that you need for SEO. It's different from having someone go in and revamp the entire thing at once. It's a bit slower, but you are at least gaining some traction. Hopefully that makes sense, but typically about 3 months to see a little bit of again, depends on where you started off, but 3 months to see a little bit of a change. And all that to say that if you don't do anything at all today, just optimize for humans. Make your site, make sure that your site is not slow. Make sure that you're providing value in your content. Make sure that you're always, even if you don't do any any research for keywords, just think about, okay, if I were my target market, what would I type in order to get to my site? What would I type in order to get to this blog post? And continue your marketing in that way, and that should support you in at least getting a little further along with SEO, even if you don't do anything at all. So if you're working on your site, again, will this make it easier on my ideal customer? Is the content relevant to what they might be searching for? Is my content authentic and full of value? And am I focused on my pillars? So choose like 5 pillars. So what are you going to write about if you have a blog? 5 things that all your blog posts will fall under, and then make sure that each blog post fits into any of those. And if it doesn't, then it just won't get put up. So these are some of the tools: Google Search Console, Google Analytics, Moz, SEMrush and Moz. I think SEMrush for sure is paid. Moz has some free tools. Google Analytics and Google Search Console are a must-have, and they are free. So you can visit me on my site. There's a website planning course, not so much with SEO, but just if you are planning on revamping your site or creating a brand new website, that is there for you. You can go on roblesdesigns.com. If this was crazy and you're like, I have no idea where to even start, I am totally confused, you can go on calendly.com/roblesdesigns or roblesdesigns.com and hop on my calendar. I am more than happy to answer any questions, which I am sure you have. You can also stalk me on Instagram. Usually I'm on Instagram, Facebook at Robles Design Studios, or you can just email me and at yasmin@roblesdesigns.com, and I am more than happy to answer any questions, hop on a Zoom call and show you, or go into the back end and just show you where everything is located. So with that, I'm going to show you my face. All right, so I know that was a lot, and if you guys say that you have, I see the chat. Okay, if you guys say that you don't have any questions, I think you're lying. Okay, let me see. Okay, I had one question. What about pictures you upload to Google on your location name? So I'm not sure. So if you upload to, do you mean Google My Business? Also, make sure you have a Google My Business page. That's a must-have too. Even if you don't have a site. If you don't have a site, just have a Google My Business page. Have your address, your hours on there. Images that you upload there, I would just say, to be safe, because it is Google, just name your images. Or you might also be using the same images on your website as maybe Facebook, as Instagram, as the GMB page, the Google My Business page. So just rename them, just get into the habit of naming them with your ideal keywords, and then that way you don't have to think about it too much. LinkedIn is asking for alt text now. Yeah, and so is Instagram. So if you are Instagram and LinkedIn, they actually have Instagram doesn't force you to, but there is a place where you can add it. And although they have stated per 3 months ago when I researched it, that it doesn't use it to be found on the feed or when people search, they added it in there for a reason. And so one, is for people who are either visually impaired or just need that alt text for some reason. And two, they're eventually going to use it for search. So make sure that you're adding those alt texts in there. Let's see. Yep, best practice. Yeah, just name your images, more descriptive. Yeah, and then, okay, cool. So does anybody have any more questions? Are you too?
You put them into overwhelm, quiet mode, thinking mode, so.
I mean, honestly, if you don't, and I get it, because you might be on a budget, you can't hire someone, but you know you need to do this, and you don't have the time. So if you're like me, it's all these factors, right?
Yasmin, I'm sorry, I do have a couple questions, and I'm trying to deal with something else on the phone, so I apologize. What is the difference between paid ads and sponsored ads?
So paid ads, and Stacey, you can jump in if you want. The paid ads are, so like Google ads, if you go on Instagram and or Facebook, because they own Instagram, and you pay for an ad, so you will upload your own image, your copy, and then you pay for that, and it's I believe, per clicks.
Yeah, we
to
do
click
that.
through. Mhm.
So I understand that.
And then,
But yeah, what's a sponsored ad?
so sponsored ad, I think it depends on how you, and Stacy says that they are kind of the same thing. So the way I think of sponsored is from like influencers. So, but that might be something different. I might be getting them confused. I don't usually do ads, but so I think of sponsors as, so when I listen to podcasts, they usually mention a sponsor, and that means that the podcast got paid to mention them. So that is, but I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. I just think of it more as influencers, and Stacey, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Sponsors as influencers. So let's say one of my clients, she actually gets paid to, because she has a larger following, she can get a little bit of money or free product by mentioning certain items in a giveaway on her Instagram. And she's not necessarily the one purchasing the items and giving them away. She's just like the middle person who is promoting this brand. And that's how she gets her money. And then the company gets their money by getting either exposure. It depends on what you're trying to track, exposure, or they give her a special code to give out to people that will then, so for example, with podcasts, usually it's like, let's say it's Squarespace. They say, go to squarespace.com/, and then that's how they track. And then the person gets paid for promoting your brand. They get paid for promoting your brand. And then so let's let's do an example. It might be a little easier. Let's say for me, I am an influencer because I'm so cool and awesome. And I have a bunch of followers on Instagram, and you come to me, or somebody comes to me and says, we want to promote this, our new drink. And so they're going to pay me an X amount of money, plus they're going to give me a code to provide to my followers. So then I promote it on Instagram, get paid, maybe got free product, and then also give my followers a code. Then you as a business, you can track that code usage. That's how I think of sponsorships, but I don't know, Stacey can correct me if I'm wrong. Paid ads, I think of more as you're on Facebook, and you actually pay for an ad, you create it, or your graphic designer creates the ad, you create the text, and then you put it on Facebook, and you're paying Facebook directly to show the ad to people.
Okay.
But I could totally be wrong.
If you're just asking about like paid versus sponsored, like because you're seeing in your Instagram feed the advertisement say sponsored at the top, that is a paid ad. Mm-hmm. They're just using different terminology.
Yeah.
Well, and the only reason I'm asking is because when you first started, you said that I think Google doesn't like, it's good with the paid ads, but not the sponsored ads. So I'm trying to figure out what the difference is between paid and sponsored, because maybe I misunderstood, but I thought something at the beginning of your presentation said that the paid ads Google likes, but the sponsored ads they don't.
No, your site is it's more likely to convert. So those stats were just about, so how many people would be more likely to convert from organic search versus paid ads. And then I would think of it this way: paid ads gets people to your site a lot faster. You are turning on the faucet and you're just bringing the people in. But as soon as you turn off that faucet and stop paying, it's gone. So I am a promoter, because I do it. Sorry, Stacey. But I'm a promoter of more organic search, but they work really well together. So let's say you need to get traffic to your site. Yes, I would, if you have the budget for it, turn on those sponsored or paid, whatever the terminology is, turn that faucet on and work on your SEO, because that way, when you have to turn the faucet of paid ads off, you can still have that foundation of SEO and you build up that brand awareness. So they work really, really well together. Does that support? I don't know, Stacey, if you want to verbally just tell me that I was wrong.
No, you're not wrong. So paid ads are great for getting new people and creating awareness and getting them to like get to your site, to your point. Organic ads are a way, or organic posts are a way to keep them interested once they're there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Edie, I think you had your hand up.
Thank you. I have a reverse question, which is going to sound odd, but I am in title insurance.
Mhm.
Somewhere we have given auto titles an amazing push because something, and I don't do the programming for our online presence, but we probably get 10 phone calls and at least 2 or 3 people that physically show up here a week, and they really want the Bureau of Motor Vehicles for car and auto titles. So would there be a suggestion if you're getting the wrong calls that what would you change? Some kind of description?
Yeah, I would have to do some kind of content audit to see, like a site audit to see where it is that that information is being pulled from, because it could be. So when this has happened, when you can get found for random things and it's not even in your wheelhouse.
Right.
And so what I've done is gone through and I realized, oh, hey, you have like 3 blog posts about, I don't know, about this thing that you don't even support anymore, this service that you don't do. So for example, my one client, she only focuses on one-on-one personal trainer. Oh my goodness. She's a personal trainer, but she doesn't do a lot of classes anymore, but she's still ranking for that. And so it's just about getting to either she leaves it there or she gets to shift the content or add new content about more personal trainer sort of keywords so that she can now start shifting that. But yeah, it would be me having to go in and like running a couple of reports, because it could be like that one page that's just for some reason has an image with an alt text that just works for that. I've seen that come across too. So,
well, I think that's just another thought that just by listening to you today, I'm going to call whoever does our stuff and just say, hey, this really smart woman said we should, watch what we're tagging and how it's worded and all of that. And maybe I've never mentioned it to anybody before, but anytime, if you're getting the wrong kind of calls or people that are confused, that maybe what you're talking about is exactly where they need to be looking. So,
Hey,
but I appreciate that.
Do you have somebody who does like all of your paid Google advertising, like with keywords? It could also be a paid keyword issue too. So like the broad keyword is like auto title, but then there are all these like more specific keywords underneath it that may overlap with like DMV terms. And one thing you can do is go delete all those like sub things that are irrelevant to you. So that way they're not popping up as keywords anymore.
It's the word title, and we're title insurance, but people just search title. But this is really important information I'm hearing today. And so I appreciate it, even from where I sit, and I don't do it. So
sure.
Thank you.
You might be able to increase, I don't know if it works the same way as a site, but if you do some more research, or if they did some more research on, because title is very broad, but if they could do some research on what exactly, so let's say, I don't know your industry that well, but it was like, let's say home buyer's title. Let's say that was a keyword that comes up. Then the ads could be, because for a site, that's what I would do. Instead of just having that big title, it would be more focused on what you do, because you don't want to be wasting your time on people who are not going to be clients. And it'll also increase your conversion rate, because they're at least halfway there. They know that they need something for their home. So they're at least open to discussing it versus going, oh, you actually don't provide auto titles. All right, so are there any other questions?
You and
Okay,
Stacey.
so,
oh, go ahead. Did you see my comments? Okay,
okay,
thanks.
Cool. So I get the honor, or Stacey, if you want to jump in, of announcing a few other amazing events coming up. So August 4th is Social Media 101 with Stacey, which is perfect, because if you did everything I told you today, your site is ready to get all those people from social media to come to it. And then we have email marketing on September 1st. We will have brand photography and talk about just how, you know, because we all have these social accounts. How do we make them look snazzy and really get the attention of the people that we want, right? So I know Edie, she wants everything glittery on her Instagram account. So yeah. So how do you know, what would you do for a content photo shoot to get your social media looking snazzy? We will have another one coming up on how to build an ad in Facebook and Instagram, and then how to choose a website platform. So make sure to look for all of those. For the website platform, I will be talking about it. So let me know if you have any questions prior to that one. But I will be going through everything from what is Shopify? Why is it better? Or what if BigCommerce is better for you? What about service-based websites? So just kind of sparsing out through all of those. With a little bias on my end, I must admit, because I do work with a couple of them, but I will give you my honest opinion on those and how to choose them, especially if you are the type of person that wants to be hands-on in your website, or if you want to just not touch any code at all. So I am really looking forward to the social media one though, because although I can build a website, Stacy's the one that's going to teach us how to really get people to the website. I don't know if you want to talk about it a little bit more, Stacy.
Well, it will just be a really basic overview of all the social media platforms, who's on them. So depending on like who you're trying to target, what social platforms that you might want to be on. And then also just the kind of basic formats that each social media uses, because they're all a little bit different. So it'll be from the gamut of Facebook through LinkedIn to maybe even some TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. That'll be interesting. We know David's on TikTok, so.
On that note, no. Maybe
All
we
right.
should do it. We should do a TRIVLLAGE TikTok.
We should. That way we can all look like grown-ups trying to be cool. All right. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining. If there are no more, if you think of anything, if you try to do, you know, handle all your SEO stuff and you think of tons of questions, if run across any gaps, let me know. You can email me, you can find me online, and I'd be more than happy to walk you through a few things.
Thank you
And-
so much.
And
Thank
down
you.
the road, if you guys need to get a hold of Yasmin and cannot find her information, please let Tony or I know. So thank you all for being here today.
No,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great day.
You too.